In 1976, Danish jazz rock funk band Buki Yamaz released their second album, Segundo, and from it, the appropriately titled A Hunk of Funk. F sharp. Okay, so far we have a really galloping pace, primarily built around a bass line and some very hyperactive woodwind work there. Let's see, who do we got? Henrik Bødtcher is giving us the bass line, and I think we're hearing the flute work of the flute work of Aske, Bentzon, and yeah, as a matter of fact, Aske Bentzon is the fellow who wrote this track, wrote the majority of this album. 3 tracks written by the ubiquitous Kasper whose name also appeared on the Heavy Joker album. We're getting some really layered percussion there. Here we're hearing a few different percussive sounds. Drums by Weisgaard and a few others, I believe. Congas and percussion by Klavs Nordsø. Really hyperactive, as a matter of fact, almost as much so as the Diga Rhythm Band. I am talking about the percussion, really dense, really layered. Yeah, one might not think of Denmark as necessarily like a hub for Latin influenced jazz rock, but there were a few bands from that small nation that pervade the style. This band, and a bit later, Masala Dosa. Yeah, hear that just rattling percussion all the way through really fast, almost double the speed of the whole gallop. Really tight, really engaging for a track that's basically just been kind of locked in the key of F sharp. And just kind of like a 4/4 breeze along with kind of like a 1-2-3 1-2-3 1-2 kind of in there within the bars of 4. Hear the guitar just lightly trying to interject into the flute, trying to work its way in, maybe trying to break up some of the flute domination. Really staccato too. Yeah, everything has been really close cadence, really tight. I'm trying to count how many instruments are we hearing at the same time: flute, guitar, bass, drums, percussion. That I love how that flute melody is just kind of like finding its way to work its way up high and then back down in just the key of F sharp. Kind of like wiggling its way up and then making these kind of steps 1, 2, 3 back down. Bit of cymbal spray right there. Do you hear that? I love that little like kind of like on like sheets or something. Good use of like cymbals right there. Now we're getting some real heavy rolls. Those sounds, yeah. What is that sound? Now it's just like it's being filled up by basically two components: the drums, just hyperactive drums, and then that sound that I've heard in several of these other records that I've been doing recently. Didn't I just hear? Wasn't I pointing that out on the extra ball video the other night? Kind of like warm. It sounds like a mixture of like kind of like warm fuzz tone in a talk box. Is it possible to play a guitar through a talk box, or is that only something that works in the mouth? Oh, hear the just fizzing, oozing of that guitar sound. And also the bass ostinato, it's still there, but it's kind of muted this time. And it's basically just like drums, percussion, and that guitar. You're just fizzing upward and just crackling. Hear that tone. It's just so, the way it's just cutting through, slicing, just scraping. Almost like the sonic equivalent of like two wires just kind of hitting one another and creating all these, you know, vaults and Hunk of Funk by Buki Yamaz from their 1976 second album, Segundo. Yes, a very hyperactive band with a strong rhythm section and just overall instrumental dexterity. Yeah, let's hear another track from the album, kind of them doing something somewhat different. Rainflower. Very different, more like open cadence this time. This also written by Aske Bentzon, I guess the main creative force in the band. A young guy too. He was only 21 when this album came out. Oh, a bit of trivia. Him and Kasper Winding were half brothers. Hearing a lot of like sustained notes and such. Notice the guitar kind of has that slow, kind of like slightly, I don't know, kind of like slow wah type quality to it. That drum beat. Very once again a lot of rolls. I think this might get more of a showcase for kind of, might become more of a showcase for some lyrical leads, if I'm not mistaken. I hear those sustained notes. Those, yeah, he's getting a little bit scaly, but kind of being slow with it. Hear the counterpoint between the bass and the guitar. How the bass is kind of like changing the key center behind the soloing, kind of altering the harmonic framework of the soloing. It almost sounds like a fretless bass. Yeah, the guitar is just kind of like swelling up, getting thicker, getting louder, but still playing at the same basic pace. I think it's another guitar guitarist that kind of reminds me of of Peter Frampton. Yeah, I made that reference like yesterday in one of the videos. Like I think because it goes from like kind of like lyrical sustains over kind of like ballady open chords, and then gradually kind of gets a little bit more scaly, but still keeps that kind of relaxed sort of vibe. Without like breaking out and going like full speed, it just kind of it just builds up in intensity more and more and fullness. The drummer's doing like a hi hat, a hi hat slide on every third. Yeah, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Oh, the way that bass line went, no, 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 through, no, 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 yeah, through that B, and yeah, changed the chordal backdrop to B, behind the solo, and giving that slight twist to everything. Live. Now that's something I hadn't heard throughout the track piano. Let's see, this track features the presence, let's see, Palle Mikkelborg, who's credited with electric piano and trumpet, and yeah. Oh, and I should probably mention, yeah, guitar on this album is played, well, two people are credited, Kim Sagild and Mikkel Nordsø. Yeah, Nordsø's credited with both guitar and acoustic guitar. I guess I don't know if I can't be too confident identifying one or the other as the person responsible for the solo that we've heard, though. Live. Hear that kind of like steely, kind of like bit like right at the beginning. That was Buki Yamaz with Rainflower, and before that, a Hunk of Funk from their 1976 album Segundo. Yes, one of Denmark's finest in a pretty competitive era for that nation. Yeah, a lot of jazz rock, jazz funk coming out. And this band adding sort of a Latin twist that set them apart, and really tight musicianship, tight in the rhythmic department, very fluid particularly in the drumming and the guitar and the woodwinds. Yeah. Anyway, for more rubies and sapphires from the first two Buki Yamaz albums and many other Danish jazz rock albums, see the directory of albums by Scandinavian artists linked in the description below for over 700 albums, all ruby mined from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and even Finland. Not technically part of Scandinavia, but attached kind of really just geographically, you could say part of the Scandinavian, the peninsula that of northern Europe that includes Norway and Sweden. Yeah. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the interplay, the musicianship, the soloing. Yeah, what solo stood out to you, resonated with you the most? And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.